Oh.
Sorry.
2, 1.
Okay. Actual recording is higher quality. Okay. Hi guys. We're back. Spotify switched up the recording platform a little bit. From like Spotify to something called Riverside, so it's our first time.
Lame.
Yeah. Threw us for a loop. We just took literally the last 40 minutes to figure it all out.
Which is so funny because we're considered like a technological generation. And
but
I don't know, I'm not very good at it anymore. I'm not that savvy.
But it just
I can get you to Facebook.
It was just very easy before, and now you have to like go to a whole different website and make a new account and everything. But okay, I mean, we'll have to do this again, I guess. I also don't know if we're now only limited to 30-minute episodes too. I don't know if it's gonna let us go for longer.
People want to hear us talk for longer?
If you want to hear us talk for longer. I mean, we're going to keep it to 30 minutes.
You want us to hear us talk for 46 minutes?
For longer. There's a podcast that I listened to, the one about, that I sent you last week. It was the one about, like, that chemical plant meltdown in India.
Oh.
But those episodes are, like, an hour and 45 minutes long. And I do find they're fantastic, but
you can listen to that long?
No, I mean, I do, technically,
Eventually,
but
yeah.
I definitely go in and out of my acuity of attention versus, like, I kind of zoned out for the last 5 or so minutes.
I can't pay attention for that long.
Yeah,
you really have to pay
time.
Attention.
Yeah, and everything's
like,
so detailed that
yeah.
you kind of should have, like, you should pay attention because then you get but yeah, no, that's too long. That's kind of why we keep ours a little
short and
on the
sweet.
shorter side. Yep.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Yep. So this is going to be episode 10 of season 1. So this is our last episode. Jess and I are a little unprepared today. It's just like a crappy day in Connecticut. My plan was for us to take season 2 pictures for Instagram and stuff like that with like cute outfits and like hair and makeup and stuff, but
I think we're feeling the winter blues.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling the winter blues.
Yeah.
I had like not a meltdown the other day, but I was definitely spiraling. I was on the phone with my dad, and we're like on the hunt for a house, and I was like, oh my gosh, if we buy a house here, like we're here.
Yeah.
For quite a bit, you know.
Yeah.
And Mike was like, we'll be here for 8 or so years to build equity at least.
Yeah.
And then I was like
Yeah, to get that
panicking
money
in my
back a little
head. Yeah, because I was like, well, I've always wanted to live somewhere warm. I've literally been saying I want to live somewhere warm
for 10 years now.
10 to 15 years. So I was like, well, fuck me. Like, what if I want to go there now? Like, why wait? So I'm like,
before I actually buy a house.
Before I buy a house. So I'm looking at homes in Tampa, and I'm like, these are nice. There's so many homes down there.
Yeah, the
more
market's
than here.
so,
obviously,
yeah.
I mean, Connecticut's smaller, but
Connecticut's smaller.
Then I was like, well, I don't know, because then job wise, like they pay so shitty down in Florida.
Yeah.
So then my dad calls, and I'm telling him all this, and I was like, but then I could go when I retire. But what if I don't make it to retirement?
But what if I don't make it there?
Yeah. And he's like, Jessica, you're spiraling.
Yeah.
And I was like, I tend to do this like once a week. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Like this happens all the time. Yeah.
It's
like, well,
pick your spiral topic.
Right. He's like, well, I've been saying I wanted to live somewhere warm, and look, I'm turning 60 this year. And I'm like, Dad, that doesn't help.
That's exactly my point.
That's exactly my fucking point. Like,
yeah.
you just now I'm spiraling again.
It's hard before, especially like you said, before you sign a mortgage for 30 years. It's like, man, do I really want to do this for 30 years?
Yeah.
Connecticut's not that bad. Like our winters aren't brutal or anything like that. And especially like the last 2 or 3, it hasn't really snowed very much. But it's still gray every single day for months at a time.
I literally look forward to when it's warm.
Yeah.
And then it's here, and then it's gone so fast, and then I just repeat the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike's like, we should try to embrace winter more next year, and like a lot of people have been telling me, like, you should try skiing or snowboarding. I went to work. I was finally on my floor, and I saw my coworkers again, and
because Jess has been floating a lot the last month and a half.
So I'm finally on my floor, and I see this kid, and he's in a brace, and I'm like, what happened to you? Or a cast, and he's like, oh, I broke my arm snowboarding. And I was like, yeah, that's right. We're not embracing anything.
We're not.
I'll embrace it by the fireplace.
There's nowhere to ski in Connecticut either. We haven't gotten any snow.
I'm not doing it anyway.
You gotta go up to North. It's a lot of money too. It's a very expensive habit and a dangerous one nonetheless.
The risk to reward is just not there.
I mean, I ski. I like it very much.
I'll sled.
But even then, if you're not into it, if I were 28 and I just started skiing, I wouldn't start to ski. No. Like, I only do it because I've been doing it forever.
The last time I went sledding, I think it was with Jancy, and it was in my old house. And I hit my head against
like
the
your
shed.
high school house?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I flew right into our shed, and I hit my head, and we were done.
That's it. Never. Yeah, well, and the risk for that when you're skiing is...
Yeah.
Exponentially.
I don't take enough vitamin D or C or whatever for my bones. I don't want to break them.
Well, we had I left because it came in right just after shift change, but there was a ski mountain in northern Connecticut, and we got a patient who they said a crush injury. So I don't know if if somebody fell on top of them or something like that, and like squished their rib cage or something, but I'm sure that was not pretty at work. So yeah, it's just the risk is very, very great.
So yeah, that was my spiraling last week. We'll see what this week brings.
We'll see. It's Friday. Jess works all weekend, so yeah. I'm sure the universe is gonna have something fresh.
Well, I guess I didn't spiral, but 2 days ago, I'm like being moved. I'm a traveler, so like I'm not really. I was assigned to one floor, and I've been there for a really long time.
Yeah.
But now I'm being moved because they're cost shifting, and I was like, I've always let myself like not fully immerse, and I was like, I'm a traveler, like
What, like fully immersed in the travel game?
Fully immerse myself on like the floor, I guess, and like because I'm like, all right, well it's temporary, whatever. Sure. But then like I was told that I'll be moved. And I got really upset. I got really sad. Like, when I finally went back there... So
you're not going to be on your floor anymore? You're not?
No.
Oh!
At least for the next, like, scheduling block, I won't be.
How long are your scheduling blocks? 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
Wow. Yeah. Are you going to a different floor, or will you be floated every day?
No, I'll be on a different floor.
Oh.
But I was finally, like I said, back on my floor the other day, and, like... Everybody was like, Jess, you're finally here. Oh my gosh, like, where have you been? And then my assistant manager gave me like a big hug, and I was like, and like I made really good friends, and like me and this one girl, we hang out outside of work now. We talk like outside of work, and like so. And then I was like, oh fuck, like now I'm not gonna be there, and like having good coworkers and like. Good like management like that, like where you're friends with them and everything. Like
it takes a long time to build that.
It takes a long time to build that, and it makes a huge difference in your work day.
Yep.
Like when I get floated and stuff, it's like it was like whatever because I would just go there for a day. Yeah. And then, but I was lonely. I don't have friends like that.
You had to like go sit and like talk with at the desk and then stuff.
I would just kind of like by myself and like. At least when I'm on Mike's floor, I have him and, his friends are nice to me and they say hi and everything, but they're not like, it's not like when the relationships that I've built on my floor for the last 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was really upset. I cried a little bit.
You said that you hired a lot of new grads on your floor. Mm-hmm. Is that why?
Yeah.
Because you're like more appropriately staffed up there now?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, well, that's the whole point of the traveling
game.
Right,
right? Like, well, that's kind of like, I mean, that is part of traveling. I was like, yeah, I know, but like,
it's hard.
Lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I never really like thought about it until we've just been there so long, so I've made like good friends.
Jess and Mike have been there for a long time. Their med surg floors are tough to consistently keep very staffed.
They are, but it's been good lately.
Yeah, but Jess and Mike have been there for a long time because of that.
Recently, like, work's been mint.
Yeah.
It's been good.
The census where I work has been, like absurdly slow. It's very bizarre. Like, the last 3 weeks, the census has been
I'm not
very controllable. Yeah, no, I'm
nice.
not complaining either. I've had a couple sick patients, don't get me wrong, but, but the waiting room hasn't gotten outrageous, which is... Yeah. Huge, and there's like discharging people upstairs and stuff. So it's been good. I agree.
It's been good.
I totally agree. I've had much better shifts lately than not.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
Yeah. No.
And it's only been 2 or 3 weeks of decent shifts, and I'm like, oh man, I feel like a new person. It does. It feels really good.
Yeah, it feels really good. I like everything. yeah, with all the new hires and everything, and just I think overall census being a little lower.
Yeah.
The workload is much more like manageable, and
I agree.
It's nice because then I can do the little things that I want to get done.
Right.
On like
that I typically don't.
Yep. You know, not that I don't want to, it's just like hard to get around to. But now I can.
Yeah.
And it's nice. And like with like being able to do like the little things like that, it makes me feel good.
Yes.
You know, it makes me feel like, okay, this is like what I became a nurse for, so that I can like an example is like those trach patients, you know.
Oh yeah.
Most of the time they can't, I mean, at least for me, they can't move. They can't go anywhere.
Yes, a lot of the times people who have trachs, like the breathing tubes in their throats, in their, they also have a lot of comorbidities. Yeah. Usually you don't have somebody who can walk and talk and drive and eat who has a trach. Most of the time if you have a trach, it's because you have a lot of other things that are wrong with you.
Yeah.
So, you had a trach patient?
I did. I've had a few. They do kind of scare me. Just I'm not like comfortable. I don't get them that often.
Agreed.
You know, so I kind of wish I.
Respiratory handles trachs a lot.
They do
where I work. So they make me.
I mean, they're great when I ask for help. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish I had a little more of them, just so like I get more. I'm getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
I ask my questions to respiratory when they're there.
Yes.
So like I'm prepared. I know what I'm doing. But, because, like we said, they don't really move a lot.
Right.
If at all. I've been, doing a lot of oral care. I've been, washing their faces. I take, a warm towel and I'll wash their face. I'll get all the crud off. Mm-hmm. I'll comb their hair.
Yep.
I'll do all that stuff.
Yeah, actually fluff and puff them.
Yep. Yeah. I'll make them comfortable. I'll change your entire bed, whatever. I'll do, And I like that. It makes me feel good that, this is what...
Well, they're clean, they're settled, they're well taken care of. Every part of their health is actually being taken care of, aside from just me shoving meds in your
I have
mouth
and
IV,
that.
and I can,
and I can see it on their faces too. When I'm done, that they feel so much better.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot of them can't talk, but I'll clean their whole, I'll wash their face and everything, and you can see they're like, what is this? What are you doing?
Makes you feel more human.
Yeah. So I can see it on their faces that they feel so much better, and they look like this has been needed, and that they look like they really appreciate it, and that's what gives me
Well, that's what makes you have a good day at work, because everybody's actually taken care of.
Right.
And then also nobody gives you an attitude either, because
makes me feel
done
good.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really good. There have been a few times the last couple of weeks where someone's truly I can, when they say thank you, it's not just everyone, I mean, a lot of people are always oh, thank you for what you do, thank you, blah, 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 but I can't remember the exact scenario. I meant to write it down, but there was one scenario where I think it was something like that with the trach, but he was he can walk and stuff, but he was connected to the oxygen, so he obviously can't go far.
Okay.
Can't do a whole lot, so I washed, I bathed him head to toe. I changed his socks, I washed him between his toes, I washed his hair, I did everything. I changed his bed, and you can tell, I did everything, and he was just in the little raspy voice, he was
Oh.
And I was you know what? This is
yeah, that's the stuff.
You're very welcome, my guy. You're
my
very
homie.
welcome.
I've never cleaned in between anybody's toes.
I think about what
unless there was a lot of blood on it.
Yeah.
But I haven't. Yeah, no.
I get in the ears. I do all that. Yeah.
Wow,
I do all that.
Very nice.
Behind the ears. Yeah.
Where all the things that you're supposed to. Well, I mean, even when they're at nursing homes and long-term care, they don't even get that. Really?
No,
the places where they should get it, they don't even get it there.
I've been thinking about, I told you that recently my grandma passed away.
Right.
So she was in the hospital before, she was in the hospital when she passed. And, when we were, now the roles are switched, right? My grandma's the patient. I'm the family member.
Yes, right.
And it was just, it was a little different being on the other side of it.
Sure.
And, now I know, so, I kind of think about, all right, being back on the nursing side.
Right.
Think about, what
their day looks like.
What their day looks like, what they're like in the bed and stuff. And even we were on the drive home the other day, And, I was telling Mike that, like, oh, this family member called, and she was, like, asking me questions. I told her everything that I possibly could know. Like, I read through all the notes. I spent, like, 10 at least 10 minutes on the phone with her, and she was like, oh, is there somebody else that, like, would know more than you that I can speak to? And I was like,
honestly, not really.
That's why I took it a little personal. Yeah. I was, like, a little, like...
But also, didn't I just read you, like...
Right.
God, everything that has happened from the ED to and basically this morning.
Right, and she wasn't there that long, and I was like, I took it personally, and then I was telling Mike about it, and he was like, well, like, take a step back, like, for her, she probably doesn't even work in healthcare. She probably has no idea what it's like, and, like, it's easy for you to say because you're the nurse, and, like,
yeah, you have the whole chart
we have the whole chart in front of you, this, but, like, maybe she works in something that's completely, like, non-related to healthcare, and, like, he's like, just turn it down a notch, and, but
again, at this, like, you gave her, I'm sure, an abundance of information. Right. Like, what more could there have been, especially if she hadn't been up on the floor for that long.
Right, but she also lived, like, 2.5 hours away, and she's, like...
Also, good luck having, like, getting a doctor to come to call you back, too, because... It's very rare, at least where I work, that the doctor will call and, like, update the family on the plan of care unless they really, 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 like, freak out and kick and scream.
I think ours will, but, like, depending on the time. It was, like, depending on the time and when the patient comes up from the ED. Right? Yeah. Like, you kind of, like, switch over plan, like, from ED doc to, like, floor doc.
Yeah, to inpatient doctor,
Yeah, you gotta, like, take, like, a minute more. An hour.
Yeah.
To, like,
But even for, like, a day at a time, the inpatient doctors, like, don't call family members. And I'm like, you really need to do that. Yeah. I don't make the plan of care. Like, you make the plan of care.
Right. But, and, like...
More to your point, it's just, like, you did your best to try and, like, update a family member from head to toe, if you will. And they're like, yeah, I need to talk to somebody else who knows more. And it's like, I do everything.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I told you everything that I could, and, Mike was just saying, like, being on the other side of it, like, it's easy for us, because we are the nurse, and
yes, because we know what we know.
Right.
Yeah. And they don't know what they don't know.
Right. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess. I don't know. Again, whenever you're at the hospital or at the doctor's, like, how often do you see the doctor?
What?
In general, like, anywhere. Like, today I saw the medical assistant at my OBGYN appointment longer than I saw my actual OBGYN. You know what I'm saying? They, like, did my whole intake form. They weighed me. She took my vitals, asked me when my last period was, what meds I'm on, this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. Like, the OB was just in and out just to do the PAP and was gone. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They are, yeah.
Like, when you're in the hospital, you will see the nurse 16,000 more times than you see a doctor.
So much.
So... If you need to know anything about your family member or your plan of care, yep, we got it. We got it. Got all the knowledge. So that's more my point. It's just like the doctors don't ever in any capacity spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah, I think things are just changing.
Yeah, that's true.
Even when I go to the doctor's office, I used to see the doctor all the time.
I see the doctor every time I go.
But
it's for 2 seconds.
A PRN now.
Oh, yeah. No, my provider, yeah. Well, no, my provider's a DO now. But I had a provider that was an APRN. Yeah. And everybody's like, do you mind, like, having a PA or an APRN? I'm like, no.
Not really.
Not
I don't
particularly.
think it changes anything.
No, doesn't really. For me, at least. That's all. I mean, that's another thing. Like, we're nurses. I know if I'm getting good care or not.
Right.
So.
But I'm also going in because of having some health anxiety, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I found a lump, and then it's nothing.
Right, but whoever's gonna help me, please.
Just prescribing it.
Just send them my way. Whoever will help me. Yeah, but I even downstairs, like, the doctors don't come and look at the patients; they'll just call and ask.
Yeah,
they won't come and talk to them.
Well, mine, at least when I ask, they'll come. Mine take a little bit, but they come because they have a lot of patients on their list. Yeah, well,
I'm not saying that they don't, because they do.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the other day we had one cardiologist for the whole hospital.
That's crazy.
And yes, we are a small hospital, but we are, like, not that small where you need only one cardiologist. It was not fair. Because there could be literally 16 people in the emergency department who need cards consults, plus people up on the floor.
Yeah, that's very overwhelming. That's
plus
stressful.
all there's 7 inpatient floors, and there's tele patients on, whatever. So yeah, they have to call and ask us for help and stuff like that, because again, he's old too. He's almost 70 now. So it's an almost 70-year-old man is covering the entire hospital for every single cardiology patient. I
would not be working if I was 70, I'm not going to lie. I don't care how much I love my job. I'm out.
Absolutely not.
65 or 67, whatever the age is now, I'm gone.
Well, and he's running around like a crazy person too. He's not slow. He does not have a light day.
Well, considering he's the only cardiologist in the whole hospital.
In the whole hospital that day. It's so... Because you know what, too? That he also covers the cath lab.
Oh.
So it's not even it's just I'm just walking around doing consults. If somebody's having a STEMI or there's an exploratory cath, he's also doing that. On top of his consult. So it's just what? What? So I'm not blaming the doctors. It's not a doctor poop fest at all. They are...
They
everybody's are so busy too.
Everybody's busy. They're very busy. But
yeah. Yep. Oh, we all
the
are.
The whole world is.
It's absolutely crazy. I feel bad. Urology too at our hospital. Oh my god.
I feel like cardiology is consulted for almost everybody.
Well, that's also true.
I feel like everybody gets a cardiology consult. Everybody gets a PT consult.
Almost everybody gets a PT consult. So true.
What else?
Yeah, probably cardiology and PT are the two most popular ones. My next one is probably ortho and urology.
I don't get ortho.
You don't get ortho that much?
No, I don't think I get ortho that much. Well, it's because
you're on ortho floor.
We don't really get them.
No, not on medicine. Well, people come into the ED broken and dislocated and all that fun stuff. And then they go to our ortho floor. And then there's we get urology consults because there are so many people in the area who are special needs with urostomy tubes, nephrostomy tubes, and surgical Foley placements. People's urethras who are so jacked up from having chronic Foleys their whole lives. Oh, it's so... Plus all the old guys too with their enlarged prostates and stuff like that. Urology is very busy at our hospital.
Urology is. They have a lot going on.
We have... where I used to work, where Jess works now, they talked so much about speech coming down and doing swallow evals and stuff like that for people who need modified diets, because there are plenty of post-CVA people who need modified diets.
A lot of people.
And true swallow evals to really nail down a nice diet for them.
Yeah.
I not joking, in the current hospital that I work in, I've been there a little over 2.5 years now, and I have seen speech twice.
Really?
I'm not kidding. Well, where I currently work now, I don't know. It they put in speech consults, not all the time, but
enough.
A fair amount of the time.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody.
They just don't show up.
They just don't come. I literally don't know if they stalk the track board and just wait for them to go up to the floor to do it. But you're supposed to come down and do a speech eval as soon as it's put in, so then somebody
can have a diet.
Yeah, so then the hospitalist can put in a diet order, and then they get the tray with the proper consistency of food and liquids. I'm and then people get stuck down in the emergency department for a day and a half, 2 days.
Yeah, and they just don't eat.
And they barely eat, and I'm just why? Why don't they come downstairs? I've never. You know what's crazy? We might not even have a full-time speech path person. Could you imagine?
You ever try that stuff though? You ever try thickened water?
No, because the texture looks freaking...
It looks disgusting.
It looks horrendous.
I'll try it next time. We have the little packets. No, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
Are you not? I'm curious. I'm gonna try it.
No, it just because of the way that it thickens the water,
The juice doesn't look that bad.
No, the juice doesn't. I feel the sugar would help it go down. I just feel it'll take away the satisfaction of a cool rush of thin water. I'm just like, I like shake it around in a cup and I'm like, it looks like space goo, like that's like space goo stuff that kids play with. Yeah, slime. I'm like, ugh.
I'm gonna try it.
No, I worked at a nursing home for a week in their cafeteria or like in their kitchen.
I used to do that too. I did it for a few months in college. I worked in the cafeteria at a nursing home.
I dislocated my shoulder.
So nasty.
So then I was out for 4 months and then I just never went back because I hated it. But
I didn't like my boss there.
Doing it what?
I didn't like my boss there. I was in college and I was like, can I take this one weekend off? I want to go to Lake Compounds with my friends. And she said no.
Yeah, so...
And then like a week later, she got fired.
And I'm sure that didn't last very long for you.
Then I went to Lake Compounds.
Yeah, there we go. That's
so right. I was there for like a week. No, not a week, for like a year.
Oh, you were?
My new boss was cool. Oh. He was really cool. But we would do like all these.
We do all the thickets and stuff like that, all the different mechanics. But I don't really remember it very much because I didn't care enough to pay attention.
A lot of people don't eat it. At least that's what I know. A lot of people did not eat like all the pureed diets. A lot of people did not eat it. We would just throw it away.
Yeah, we would go pick up their trays and yes,
pureed tilapia.
Yes,
nasty.
Yes, the proteins are what people really had a hard time with.
Pureed pizza. You ever see pureed pizza?
No. Oh my god. Wait. I know. Well, I only worked there for a week, so again, I didn't really get too crazy with it. But yes, the proteins, the fish, the chickens, and then we would have like molds.
Yeah,
so it looked like a slice of meatloaf.
They would mold it into a pizza.
Yes, it's like it was such a lie. And then we would also put like a bunch of like powders in it and stuff to try and make it more nutritious, make it more nutrient dense because we knew that they weren't going to eat a lot of it. But then I'm sure it just changed, made the texture and like the taste so much worse.
Yeah, no.
So then they just didn't eat it. And they just didn't eat it, period.
What? Incredibly unappetizing.
Yeah. But... No. Wow, what a little hodgepodge episode. It just, took off.
Honestly,
because now we're...
Yeah. Almost at the end. I worked the last 2 days, and now I'm going to work the next 2 days.
So...
Sometimes it's nice to talk about... Well, we did talk about nursing, but, also, not...
A little bit of whatever. Energy's low today, you guys. It's a great February Friday in Connecticut. Jess just got off 2 shifts. She's going back to 2 more. I got my period today, so we're all yeah.
We're slow moving.
We're done. We're crumbling.
We also haven't seen each other in a bit.
Yeah, we haven't.
Even though we talk
every day.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 6. I miss the time though, I'm not gonna lie, when we if I'm driving into work by myself, we'll be on the phone at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
driving
we're getting ready for work. Yeah, because it's and then it's on the days that she, vice versa. The days that she's working and I'm not, or vice versa. It's just I don't get to complain to anybody this morning. It's like a little
Where are you?
Like a little ritual. And then it just makes me wish that I was also in bed too.
Yes.
If you're in bed, I'm like, oh man, I would love to have the day off today. What else is new? I want to have them all off.
I want to have it all off. Truthfully, I just think the problem is that I don't want to work at all.
I want to work. There's just a lot of other things that I want to do.
I want to work in something like
that isn't nursing.
I also don't want to work in an office.
I don't want to work in an office.
5 days a week, no.
I don't want to work in an office.
I'll work in a little cat sanctuary or something. I'll be with cats all day. That's what I would do.
I would do something completely.
Or something I don't know, I'm in fucking Key West and I work at a surf shop. And then you come in, can I buy a surfboard? Yeah, sure. Done.
So true. Yeah, something that's totally unrelated to anything that we've done so far. Something that's actually fun and enjoyable.
But also not 5 days a week.
But also not, I could have a surf shop 5 days a week.
I love my 3 days. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I love working 3 days.
Yeah,
I don't
me
know
too.
how anybody gets anything done working 5 days a week.
How
do you go to the doctors?
You gotta take...
You take PTO for the doctor appointment?
When I worked in GI and we had to work 5 days a week, people would take a couple of hours of their PTO, 2 or 3 hours leave in the middle of the day or come in late or leave early and then just go to their appointment and come back to work.
That's wild.
But they would have to use their own PTO because, like you said, it just
What if they're late? What if the doctor's late? What if I hit traffic? I don't know.
I mean, like, love my 3 days. The manager was like very understanding of all of that, but it sucks that you have to use your own PTO to go and like pick your kids up from school and then go get their teeth cleaned and then drop them off and then come back to work. Like, you gotta. My mom would have to do that. Yeah, for the kids. You know what I'm saying? My mom would have to do that. She would have to like take her own PTO, take a half day off of work.
That make me salty.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Kids start paying rent.
Yeah.
You know you're 6.
Do something. Do something. So contribute to this family.
Gosh, all you do is leech.
That's it. All right, you guys. We have like 25 seconds. That's it for season 1. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Maybe we'll have guests on the next one.
Yeah, I would love to have guests for the second one. We're thinking about doing a husband episode at some point in season 2. So that's going to be fun. Because Jess's husband's a nurse and mine's a firefighter. So anyway, 4 seconds, just in case you needed it. This is your sign to call out.